Superman Man of Tomorrow issue 4 sees Clark awaken from a terrible nightmare, reassuring Lois that it was just a bad dream. She asks what could be so bad that it gives Superman nightmares, and he tells her he saw a creature he's been encountering lately. He tells her that the creature got away the last 4 times he has fought it, and it's driven by some purpose, like it's mad at the hero for getting in the way, but he doesn't understand what it wants. Lois knows how he feels since when she's working on a story about a crooked official or shady businessman, Perry makes her back up all her sources, making her wonder why the bad guys can't just monologue and tell her what they want. Clark says that she'd be surprised at how many of them actually do that, telling her the one good thing about this creature's attacks is that they have all been on undeveloped land, so it's not interested in hurting anyone except for him. Lois gets ready to go back to sleep, telling her husband to sleep on it, but Clark says the only thing he's learned so far is the land all belonged to one man, Albemarle Bryce, a man who owns most of the undeveloped land outside of Metropolis. Lois tells him to dig deeper as she falls asleep, awakening a moment later to find her husband gone. In the morning outside of Metropolis, Clark meets with a farmer, telling him he's working on an article and wonders if he is okay with a reporter walking on his land. The farmer tells him he's welcome to, but he won't find anything but grass. Clark goes through the barbed wire fence, catching his suit jacket and ripping it, forcing him to leave it behind. Heading into the field, he uses his X-ray vision to look under the ground, digging deeper and finding nothing but trash, but soon he comes across a toxic waste dump. As he wonders where it came from and if it's tied to the monster, the creature appears behind him, grabbing him and saying again it wants more. Clark tries to ask it what it means, powering up his heat vision and blasting it, telling him he will give it more. Suddenly it begins spinning, causing a tornado that shreds Clark's suit even more, leaving him alone in the field. He wonders to himself why it let him go, and what if it was because he found the toxic waste, and maybe it's trying to show him something. So ripping the rest of his tattered suit off, he knows he needs to get to work. Lois meanwhile speeds down the Metropolis freeway out of the city, contacted by Clark, who tells her about the toxic waste, which she knows there is probably more of all over Bryce's land. Lois knows that the man owns 40,217 acres of land and followed one of her hunches that led her to Bryce's property history and a junior reporter from the Daily Planet who wrote an article about him in the 80s. The article was buried on page 12, however, but the reporter was killed days after the article was released by some robbers, and when she asked Perry about him, who was an intern at the Planet at the time, she learned that the reporter was well liked and didn't seem like the type who would be robbed. Clark asks what the reporter's name was, learning it was Wendell Moore. Clark realizes the creature isn't saying it wants more, it's saying Wendell's last name, meaning the creature is Wendell. Clark tells Lois that he's just gotten to Bryce's estate, thinking that the creature was headed there, and he was right, as the monster is currently trying to attack Bryce. Superman smashes into the home, attacking the monster and telling it he knows it's not a monster, it's just angry. The creature again attacks Superman, saying the name Moore as Bryce demands to know what it is angry about, and Superman needs to save him. Superman says that Bryce should recognize the creature since it's Wendell Moore. Moore becomes enraged, smashing Superman out of the house as it grabs Bryce, who knows it can't possibly be Wendell since he's dead. Superman returns, saying that Moore is only dead because the billionaire murdered him since he got close to finding out that he was taking money for illegally dumping toxic waste on his land. The creature begins overwhelming the hero, who tells Bryce that he turned Moore into the creature and he better apologize since Superman doesn't know if he can hold him back. Bryce admits what he did, saying that he did indeed murder Moore and he took money from people who wanted to bury whatever they wanted on his property, and he will keep doing it because it's made him the wealthiest land baron in the state, and he won't apologize for it. Bryce says that the monster is not proof that he killed Wendell and nothing could be proven by its existence, but Lois Lane, however, begs to differ as she's been recording the entire conversation, telling Bryce that he's tomorrow's headline. Bryce says that she can't print any of that, but Superman says that they will make sure his story is told. The creature lets Superman go as Bryce continues to berate Lois, knowing that she will never run that story since he will make sure of it. However, Superman's presence makes Bryce do nothing of the sort, allowing Lois to get photos, as the next morning, her and Clark's expose on Bryce is front page news. She congratulates Clark for his good work, but Clark says that it was all Wendell Moore's doing, and all he did was fight with him. Lois knows knows he doesn't get it, since Wendell didn't need help from Superman, he needed help from Clark Kent, a reporter who could finally finish his story. She tells him that they are all writers and they all die with unwritten words in their head, but thanks to Clark, Wendell got to publish his. Clark reminds her that it was because of both of them and it was a good story. He also reminds her that he did indeed tell her that villain's monologue too much as his wife kisses him. Superman Man of Tomorrow issue 4 was another wonderful story from Robert Venditti that continues to focus on Clark Kent and his journalist work taking center stage to save the day. I've absolutely enjoyed how smaller in scale these stories are and how pulled back everything is. It just goes to show that not everything with Superman has to be alien invasions or huge fistfights with villains through the cities. The dynamic of Lois and Clark is also excellent here, and I love seeing them working together as a team to crack a story open and investigate leads and all that sort of stuff. It makes for a fun and exciting comic. I'm going to give this issue a 10 out of 10.